Hello Dota fans, I'm Sujoy and this is the Luckbox roundup of the International 8 group stages, the biggest esports event of the year. 18 Dota teams from around the world made it this far, either by earning enough DPC points throughout the season or last minute through the grueling open qualifiers. The top 8 teams from the group stages, that's 4 from each group, start in the upper bracket, meaning they can lose a game and still reach the finals. In Group A, no surprise as TI7 winners Liquid topped the group, meaning they get to choose the first round opponents. They've chosen Optic over Secret, so that's going to be the first game on stage tomorrow. It wasn't all smooth sailing for Liquid though. In particular, they got absolutely stomped in their second game with Fnatic on day one. I'm not going to read too much into that result though, since most of these teams, they're using the group stages to try out different strategies. Second place was EG, shutting up the naysayers who thought they were going to struggle this year with the last minute roster changes. S4 and Fly seemed to have found their rhythm just in time for the finals. They were on top form for day 1 and day 2, crushing almost every team in their path. The match against OG must have been an emotional one for Fly and No Tail, the once inseparable duo of Dota, now facing up against each other. Fly had the last laugh though, with EG winning that series 2-0, but I imagine he was still pleased that his former team OG also finished in the top 4. LGD, who were looking strong early in the DPC season, came in a solid third, tying with Liquid and only losing outright to EG. And in fourth, OG just managed to stay on the right side of the double elimination bracket. They had a rocky start but found their stride by day 3 with strong wins against the Asian teams. Group B was dominated by VCJ Storm, who have been the most impressive team so far in this tournament. That's something of a surprise for most people since they scraped their way through into TI8 through the last chance saloon of open qualifiers. As winners, they chose to play EG in their first game tomorrow. There was more drama though, as VCJ Storm were penalised by Valve for using 2 coaches during the group stage drafts. So, for their first game against OG, they're going to have to draft without a coach. And their reserve time is dropped by 70 seconds. Might not sound like much, but that could be a huge disadvantage, especially as OG have been known to put in some creative drafts in the past and could surprise them. Jack Chen, manager of VCJ Storm, said they weren't sure if 2 coaches were allowed during the draft, so they asked an admin, the admin asked somebody else, and eventually it came back saying, oh, it's probably all right. But then again, be careful if you want to question these decisions. You might be asked to elaborate, right Nahaz? Virtus Pro, the DPC season leaders and most people's favourite to win the tournament, seemed a bit hesitant out of the gates, but they finished strong with a 2-0 win over VCJ Storm in the final day of groups. Personally, I don't read too much into these results. I think VP are just trying out different drafts. When it comes down to it, I think VP are going to have 1 extra gear when they get onto stage. Team Secret and Optic Gaming finished 8 for 8 in 3rd and 4th place. Both having looked like they were struggling early on. At one stage, Optic were in last place, looking like they might be eliminated. Then on day 4, they got it together, beating Pain and VG Gaming to trigger a 3-way tiebreaker between Optic, Secret and Newbie. What's that? VCJ Storm, Evil Geniuses and Optic Gaming in the upper bracket, all 3 NA teams that came through the open qualifiers. Looked like someone at Valve made the right decision to have 3 NA spots, huh? The next 8 teams, again 4 from each group, are in the lower bracket. So as well as that disadvantage, the first game's also best of 1. Like one slip up and you're out of the tournament. Anything could happen. In Group A, it's Fnatic, VCJ Thunder and Mineski who got a spot in the lower bracket after all the games were played. Winstrike and IG had to have a tiebreaker in the end to figure out who's going to get eliminated. In the end, it was the TI2 champions that fell at the last hurdle. And agonisingly, they're not going to get to play on stage in the final. That means Winstrike, formerly Fly to Moon, get the last spot in the bracket, and it's an amazing accomplishment for that newly formed team. For Group B, the teams qualified for the lower bracket are Newbie, TNC Predator, Serenity and VG Gaming. It must be somewhat hard for Newbie, having just missed on that top 4 slot. But we've seen many TI champions make it back from the lower bracket in the past. Maybe it gives them an advantage, who knows? In last place, it's Pain Gaming that's going to miss out playing on stage, and we're going to miss them, their Brazilian antics and the individual brilliance of Weeha. So that's the TI8 group stages all wrapped up. The next games are going to be on stage at the Rogers Arena in Vancouver. The first time since TI1 that it's been held outside of Seattle, although it's really just across the border. I'll be hopping onto a flight to Vancouver really soon to get some juicy coverage of the event, so stay tuned to Luckbox for all the latest Dota news.